Now, before you say anything, I know what you're thinking.
Not another Starlink video.
Yes, it is, but it's with a difference. This time, we're going to be looking at some of the issues with Starlink that others seem to overlook or fail to mention.
So come and join us as we test Starlink in the real world. We'll look at the pros and the cons.
Was it everything we expected? G'day, thanks for stopping by. Well, in a previous video we talked about our struggle with the internet and with the challenges we faced trying to get a usable signal to be able to work from the van on a regular basis, and the limitations it put on our travel plans because we had to be so mindful of where we were going. And what we did find some good workarounds for that with the Nighthawk and with our directional antenna. They've been fantastic. They really were a game changer in themselves. However, it still kept us limited in places we could go, because if there was no Telstra signal or Optus signal, there's nothing you could do about it. And we had mentioned in the previous video about Starlink, but some of the, I suppose, the things we saw as barriers to getting Starlink. Well, we looked at that and we thought, well, the costs, so if we offset some of the costs with getting rid of some of our mobile plan data usage and reducing the costs of our mobiles, it certainly closed the gap a bit more. And now that Starlink is Australia-wide, well, I mean, it was end up, we thought, well, it gives us so many more options. Yeah, it costs a little bit more, but the freedom it gives us, we think will be worth it. So we purchased Starlink, and now I won't go into too much details of the unboxing because it's been done quite a few times, but we will go through a little bit of what's involved with Starlink. And I don't know, I can't remember if I saw it in other videos or not, but when you sign up for Starlink, you automatically sign up for their plan, and it starts 2 weeks after you place the order. They assume that they will get this to you within 2 weeks, and it did. We got it within 10 days, I think. So it's been a week since we've received it, and we haven't used it yet. However, we're at a place called St Leonard's on the Bellarine Peninsula in Victoria, and the reception here is so poor that we do need to do something about it. We probably could put the antenna up and boost the signal a bit, but even that, it's probably going to be a bit hit and miss. But even so, we thought, well, now seems to be a perfect opportunity to get the Starlink out and give it a whirl.
Let's check out what's in the box.
Let's check out what's in the box.
Let's have a look.
And then of course you've got the antenna.
So that's a satellite dish, isn't it?
The satellite dish, yeah. It's got this mega long cable, the modem that comes with it.
Okay, it's quite a large modem, really.
And the power cable.
Okay.
This is what I think. This is the comprehensive instructions that comes with it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty comprehensive.
Step 1, 2, 3.
Oh, do you know what? Maybe even I could understand those instructions.
So mounting it on the stand, it just slides in here.
It's got a couple of buttons at the back, hasn't it?
So that clicks into place. So that's set, ready to go.
And I suppose that button there is in case you want to take it back out. You push the button to take it back out.
Take it back out.
Fits well.
I'll be back in a minute.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yep.
The other thing with the satellite, obviously you need a clear line of sight to the sky, and you need a big peripheral region for it to get 100%. Well, where we are here at St Leonard's, again, another thing about this place is we're packed in like sardines. It is really tight, and there's not a lot of places you can put the satellite dish so that there's probably not something blocking the peripheral region of the satellite.
I would agree.
So what we're hoping to do is to use our the mast from our antenna that we had before and see if we can't get this to plug it in. I watched another video recently on YouTube about that, where a fella had an extension pole, and he put that into an extension pole and got it up about above the height of the caravan, which in this case would be great for us because we get it above all of the.
And we've already got the that big long mast and the mast holder on the back of the van.
Yeah.
So that would be perfect, wouldn't
it? So I'm going to try that and see if we can get that to work.
Okay.
Alright, so this is the mast we use for the directional antenna, and what I'd like to get this onto. So this is the bracket for this. It's
okay, it goes on top of that, yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll take it off that, I'll put it on here and just push it up as far as it goes there. Put that inside that. Push that up. Now this, we'll put this on here. Let's screw this on.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
Whoa.
So.
Yeah. Now we stick it up on the mast. Okay.
So the next thing is, because it's only one section of the mast, I'm not sure that it's actually going to reach above the top of the van.
Ah. So this is an experiment.
It is.
Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. Oh, I hope so. Oh no! It's above the caravan, which is a good thing. So here we have a bracket on our van that we bought with the mast, and it holds the mast really, really well.
So I've wrapped the cable around the tow bar here and left enough loose to be able to feed in through the window of the van. Feed that in there. Let's see how we go.
Oh. So what Paul's done, he's rejigged our mast that we used to have the directional antenna on, so that we can securely fit the satellite dish on it, and it's above our, it goes above our van. So that's great. So that means we don't have to go out and buy anything else.
Okay, so I've plugged this in now. There's only an on switch at the bottom. I thought the front here would light up a bit, but it doesn't. Apparently that's the sun, Earth and Mars or something. I'm not sure why, but anyway it is. So it's plugged in through the cable that I put in through the window here, and then into a power point at the back behind the telly. So now it's a matter of just trying to power it on and connect it up. So let's see how we go. Alright, let's have a look. I've downloaded the Starlink app. Select a Starlink. There's our one. Okay, it's doing something. Connect to Wi-Fi. The network name that came with Starlink is Stinky. Be changing that one real quick. Create network. Here we go. BTG Oz password. Looks like we're online. Join network. And there we go. Well, let's give it a test. Alright, 72 megabytes per second download, and upload is 8 megabytes per second. Well, that's adequate. Nothing special, but that should work.
So I've been using Starlink now for what?
Couple of months.
Yeah, a couple of months.
Yeah.
It would be about a couple of months. And to be honest with you, we haven't found everything to be great about Starlink. There's been some pros, but there's also been some cons.
It hasn't really lived up to the expectation, I must admit. Now maybe our expectations are too high of it.
Maybe.
But it hasn't really lived up to expectation. Now up until Starlink, we've been using this, the Nighthawk 6, which is a 5G receiver. And when we're in reception, when we're in the right places, I tell you what, the Nighthawk was fantastic, particularly with our directional antenna.
So what we found with Starlink here is that it's absolutely really great in places where you don't have internet.
Yeah. So, what's it been like using Starlink? Well, I mean, the first thing is set up and take down. Wherever we go, we have to set it up. So, with the Nighthawk, you just it's just plugged in, and it was always on. So we could just walk into the van and you'd be connected to the internet.
Yeah.
The Starlink, we don't have that luxury. You actually have to unpack it, set it up, plug it in, wait for it to load up, and then you can start. When you pack up at the end of your trip, wherever you are, regardless for how long you're there, again, you have to take it down, unplug it, rebox it, pack it away somewhere.
Yeah.
But in fairness, if we had to use the directional antenna, that was extra work. So another thing with Starlink is its power usage. The Starlink has to be connected to 240 volt the whole time. You don't have an option, it's 240 volt. So it's always going to be running through your inverter. Compare that to, say, the Nighthawk, which has 3 options. You can actually plug it into your 240 volt, you can plug it into 12 volt, and you can run it off a battery.
Overnight, we'll switch the Starlink off just so that to conserve power.
To save power, yeah.
Yeah, and so that, helps our batteries and our power supply while we're off-grid camping.
Yeah, I suppose the question you might ask is does it drop out? Well, yeah, it does. Yeah. We've had several occasions where it's dropped out.
So yesterday I was working and we had quite a significant cloud cover and a storm, and Starlink really quite struggled in that, didn't it? So,
in addition to the storms, we've also had it just dropping out when there's been no apparent reason as well.
yes.
There's also times where it's just stopped working, and my understanding is that it's actually trying to find a satellite, or it's realigning to a particular satellite or something.
Yeah. So the other thing though with Starlink is the speeds are very variable.
Yeah. The speeds vary so much. From really good, I mean, it doesn't seem to be consistently good.
Yeah.
You get bursts of 200 and 300 megabits per second, but generally it seems to sit around the 40 to 100 megabits per second.
Yeah.
And then occasionally you get really weak signals, and it'll drop down to about 10 megabits per second. Now that's the download speed. Upload, it never seems to get much above 20, and that's on a good day.
That's a great
Again, the average for that is probably around the 8 to 10, but you'll also get a fair bit of upload speed at around 5, 4, and that sort of figures around there. Which, if you're uploading videos or even making a conference call, then that's really what's causing slow uploads or lags in your videos. So it will impact the quality of the video.
Yep.
If I had a choice, I'd certainly be going with the Nighthawk. The speeds we get with that seem to be more consistent. If you've got a good speed, you've always got good speed.
Yeah.
If it needs a boost, it'll always need a boost. Whereas Starlink seems to really fluctuate quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. It really does. In fairness, with Starlink, with video conferencing, I do get the lag, at different intervals of the day, but the dropout only happens about once or twice a day. So, but it still impacts.
There has been days where it hasn't dropped out, so it's not all doom and gloom.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not.
A couple of the other things that are benefits of Starlink is if you are in remote areas where you don't have reception, if you're to break down or get stuck, you would have the option of actually setting up your Starlink and getting connected to the internet. So you could be in contact with people regardless of where you are.
Yeah.
In some ways, it almost eliminates the need for a sat phone. So if we broke down on the Gibb River Road with no reception, we could actually call roadside assistance and say, hey, we're stuck on the Gibb River Road, come and help us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what about the cost of it? The cost is something that we really need to monitor. At $174 a month, it's quite expensive to run. It is unlimited download, but there are times where be preferring to use, say, Telstra or Optus data because it's quicker and more reliable. But when you get into remote areas, so it's almost like you're using Starlink as a backup, but it's a very expensive backup, it's more expensive than your primary source of internet. So that's where you have to try and find that balance.
Yeah.
And the other thing that does work in its favour is the fact that you can switch on and off your data plan. So we're running $174 a month to run the plan month to month, but you can just cancel your plan at any time. It's not a contract. So we can stop it for a month and then pick it up again the following month if we found that was the case.
Okay.
So we do have some options available to you.
Yeah.
Which makes it a bit more flexible in that way. And that going forward is probably something we're going to have to look at. But I think overall, I'd say we've found a solution that for our internet needs that's going to help us visit anywhere in Australia and be confident we're going to have something.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like that idea. I mean, if you think about it, if we had to pay for a sat phone anyway.
Yeah, exactly. If you were trying to do that, because I think they're around $700 or something, and then you've got to have a plan to go with that.
That's right.
So,
exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
So really, overall, I think it's a good investment for our needs. Well, that just about wraps up this video, I think. I think we've pretty much covered our experience of Starlink, working with it, living with Starlink, as compared to other forms of internet on the road.
Yep, absolutely. We look forward to you joining us next time as we continue to travel and experience and explore this beautiful country of ours.
Thanks for stopping by.
Bye for now.
Bye.